Wobin walked into his room and stood there in silence. He didn't want something he had been gatekeeping to come to light in such a way. It was true that he had met Minsu first, but he knew it was his fault. He hadn't worked hard enough to find her, and someone else had beaten him to it. Yuna walked in, looking at him. She asked if he was okay, and Wobin simply nodded to indicate that he was fine. When Yuna tried to bring up what had just happened outside, Wobin quickly interrupted her, asking if she had checked out her room yet. Yuna replied that she hadn't. Wobin took her hand, smiled, and suggested that they could check out his room first, then go to hers. He mentioned that it was good their rooms were close to each other, because it meant they could spend more time together. Leading her to the balcony, they stood side by side, watching the sea view. Yuna glanced at him and realized he was lost in thought, even though he was trying to pretend everything was okay. She grabbed his hand, and Wobin quickly looked at her. She assured him that if he ever wanted to talk, she would always be there to listen and would never judge him. Wobin didn't respond. He just smiled and suggested they go check out other places as he walked back inside. Later that evening, Wobin sat by the beach waiting for his friend, whom he had promised to have a drink with. As he sat there alone, he let out a small laugh. What his friend had revealed earlier had taken him by surprise. He thought he was finally forgetting, but instead, the wound he had been trying to heal was ripped open again. He remembered the first time he had ever seen Minsu. It was on a rainy night, just after he had come to Seoul to deliver a painting. He had decided to go out with a friend. Stuck in traffic, he saw a beautiful girl standing at a bus stop with her suitcases, trying to make calls. There was something about her energy he couldn't explain. He turned to his friend and said he thought he had met his soulmate. Just as he tried to call out to offer her a ride, her cab arrived. He smiled, comforted that she was safe. But he didn't know it would be the last time he'd see her for a long time, and that things would be different the next time they met. He spent days returning to that bus stop, hoping to find her again, but she never showed up. He asked around, but no one knew her. All he had left were his memories and the paintings he made of her, just so he wouldn't forget her face. Deep down, he believed he would meet her again. He even did what he never thought he would, move back to Seoul, the city he had left to stay away from his mother, just for a chance to find Minsu. It was a sacrifice he made willingly, believing their paths would cross again. But everything he had hoped for collapsed when he found out that the girl Sunjin had asked him to hire was Minsu. And even worse, they were already dating. He remembered how his heart shattered that day. The girl he had loved at first sight was now someone else's. In his entire life, he had never felt that way about anyone. The fact that it was now too late haunted him. Seeing her every day but not having her crushed him. He had no choice but to love her from afar and hope that one day he would be able to move on and accept the fate he had been dealt.